already have students who are bringing their grandchildren to the Simchat Beit HaShoeva, as well as Rebbeim. And it's a tremendous bonding of alumni, students, and Rebbeim. Baalei Tshuva have to raise FFB children. If the parents don't know how to learn, if they're not well-versed in Torah, it can create a problem as they're trying to educate their children. So the two main foci were slow growth, don't rush, we're in it for the long term, and you have to know how to learn. 1978 was pretty early in the Baal Tshuva movement, and we sensed that there were a couple of things missing. Baalei Tshuva were coming in very fast, very strong. One of the things we believe in is that growth has to happen slowly, in an integrated way.
I remember the first brochure that we published back in 1978 emphasized the individual attention, but that was much more than a cliche.
Darche, Noam, the paths of Torah are pleasant and harmonious.
Rav Hirsch emphasizes that darche is in the plural. Darche, darche, it doesn't say darcha.
So we're not talking only about one path of Torah, but darche, darche, Noam, that there are multiple paths of Torah. They have to be authentic, but they also have to be harmonious with the individual.
If everything is exactly the same, then you don't have harmony. And if you paint the picture and all the colors are the same, so you don't have a beautiful picture. The yeshiva is named after the Mr. David Shapell, called the David Shapell College of Jewish Studies, a man who was a very great philanthropist who passed away just a couple of years ago. He and his wife were both Holocaust survivors. They came to the United States a few years after the war. One of their projects, Baruch Hashem, became the yeshiva, and they've been very, very generous supporters for a long time now.
I moved over to Shapell's when I was single, when I was really looking to try to find a place that I would be comfortable at, that I would be able to ask the questions that I wanted to ask and not feel like I was being pushed in a certain direction.
For me, what was special about Shapell's was the fact that there was a range of Rabbeim coming from different, call it, tracks of Yiddishkeit. I liked that particularly at the time of where I was coming from. I wasn't 100% sure myself where I was sort of fitting in, although I did like the fact that there was a certain openness. If I look back, I probably never really left the yeshiva, in the sense that there's so much experience that I had from the yeshiva that has just made such an impact that it's been with me for the last 20 odd years.
I am originally from Toronto, Canada, and I graduated electrical engineering in 1980. Eventually I came to Shapell's, and something clicked that I liked what I saw here. They apparently liked me. At first I said I would stay only for 3 months. Now it's some 30 years later, so I guess the contract was extended. Can you explain to me what a diuk is?
The inference from the Mishnah.
Okay, in other words, what's the relationship in terms of bigger chiddush, smaller chiddush when we make a diuk?
So Shaul would have been more of a chiddush?
A number of years after the student has left the yeshiva or the Midrasha, I get a message saying, only now am I appreciating what happened, the challenges you placed, the education you gave us.
A number of women came to us and asked us to start a school for women as well. They knew some of the guys from Shapell's, and these were post-college women, and they said, please establish a similar idea for us, because we also find that some of the schools that we're in are really pushing one type of orthodoxy, and we don't really want to be pushed into one place.
I grew up sort of conservaform. We went to a conservative shul, but I actually didn't know that Shabbos was also on Saturday until middle school when I was like, oh, I thought it was Friday night. Growing up, I didn't think much about whether you were born into a certain way of practicing religion. For me, I was Jewish. I chose coming to Midrasha Rachel in particular because I so admired the way that they prioritized literacy. There are so many inspiring shirim, obviously also, but what I felt I really lacked was the ability to learn for myself.
Amen. I went to non-Jewish schools my whole life, and in my teenage years I started thinking a bit more about my Jewish identity. Even though I'd always been proud to be Jewish, and it was an important part of my identity, it wasn't something which I thought so much about. After university, I came to Israel, and I joined the IDF. I decided to come to Yeshiva because I wanted to grow as a Jew, grow as a person.
I grew up Reform. We didn't have too much connection with the Jewish communities in the places where we lived, but it was during college through the Hillel on campus that I got involved more in Jewish life. I heard about Shapell's and that it would be the right place to come to gain skills, to grow spiritually through interacting with the texts and through encountering a range of different approaches to Orthodox Jewish life.
I worked for a record label. Our label represented Paul McCartney, James Taylor, very broad spectrum of artists. I went on this 2-week trip with Rabbi Teller from Aish, and we toured all of Israel and then also did some studying. I came back from that trip just sort of with this spark, I don't know, something in me is telling me I need to go back or I need to learn more. I realized that if I'm not gonna go now, I'll never go.
Grew up in Columbus, Ohio, in a Reform congregation, and at a certain point realized that if I wanted to continue to lead a Jewish lifestyle, I would have to really, dive in and understand, the basis for the lifestyle that I was living. And Shapell's was it felt just right.
I was a full-time Rebbe at Aish Torah for 15 years, and I progressed there, thank God. And one day, actually a friend of mine in Aish says, I hear that Shapell's is looking for a new Rosh Yeshiva. Is that something you'd like to do? I've been blown away by how impressive the yeshiva is already. We would like the students to have a very solid darche limud, to feel independence in their learning, independence in their thinking, and with that be able to make great decisions about where they hope to end up in life.
Probably the most important principle that I learned in graduate school is a quote from the Swiss psychologist and zoologist Jean Piaget. When you teach a child something that they could have figured out for themselves, you have deprived them of understanding it fully. We want our students to work and make the Torah their own. There's no spoon feeding, there's no pat answers. There is struggle, but they have to own their Judaism, they have to own their Torah, and we challenge them to do that.
I think what's unique here is that we combine, in certain ways, the focus on actual tools to help people learn the Sfarim that they need to learn to be Jews who are functioning with understanding, while also combining the big picture.
Darche Noam, how I saw it and how I still see the yeshiva is a place where there is real true Ahavas Yisrael, where they recognize the positive element of diversity.
The Darche Noam approach successfully allows our students to really fulfill the mitzvah of loving other Jews and really to show whatever community they end up with that you can be who you are
while still loving and appreciating others. We need to make it possible for more men and women to take advantage of what we offer and then to bring it to the communities where they then settle and raise their Torah families.
שימו לב אל הנשמה לשם שבו והחלמה ואורה כאור החמה שבעתיים כאור הבוקר. שימו לב אל הנשמה יושבת מחובצת לה בפינה ומנגנת לעצמה. נסו לשמוע, נסו להקשיב, זה קצת קשה בתל אביב, התרגלנו לתפוס הכל מבחוץ, ככה זה כשמתעסקים בלרוץ, תמיד עם הלשון בחוץ. אז תעשו לה טוב על הנשמה, תטו אוזן, תזרקו פרוטה, תקדישו מזמנכם דקה, שנים שהיא כבר מחכה. אז שימו לב אל הנשמה לשם שבו והחלמה ואורה כאור החמה שבעתיים כאור הבוקר.